Let's talk about living here in the UK. I've been here for almost 4 years and I wanted to make this video so that we can have a chat about life here. Maybe you're considering to move, maybe you want to come here for a few years, or maybe you're just curious about life here in the UK, in England. And I want to cover as many topics as possible today so that you can get a whole complete picture. But if I forget anything, please let me know in the comments and I will try to answer as many questions as possible after this. The first topic that I want to cover is actually how to get here, or how I got here. I'm from Istanbul, Turkey, so I'm not a UK citizen, obviously, and I'm not a European Union citizen as well. Not that it matters as much right now, but I wanted to briefly touch on these visa and how to move there kind of topics. The most important thing that I can tell you about moving here or anything here in the UK is that this government has an incredible website. It's go.uk, and any information that you might possibly have about this country, you can find there. This is one of the things that impressed me the most about the UK, that you can go on that website and from driving license to visa to taxes, everything you can find here. So obviously you can learn about the current visa system and current way to move here on that website. I just wanted to talk to you about my personal experience so that you can have a little bit of understanding why I'm here. I actually moved to the UK in 2018 from Switzerland. So I was already outside of Turkey. I was already in Europe. Even though Switzerland is not a European Union country, it's still a Schengen country in Europe. And that is a funny fact. I lived in Switzerland where, again, not European Union, Schengen, but not Euro as a currency, to another country where it was European Union, not anymore, not Schengen, and again, not Euro. So my experience here in Europe is very, very different to, a Schengen country, European Union country, and a Euro-based country. So yeah, my luck, I guess. But I was already in Switzerland and I moved to Switzerland with a student visa. I did my second master's degree there and I married the love of my life, and then my visa type turned into family member of a EU citizen. So basically because of my husband, I got the longer term visa to work, to live, and all of that stuff in Switzerland. And then we applied to move to the UK. Well, he didn't apply then, but I applied to move to the UK, and I still have this status here that I'm a family member of an EU citizen. Since we did this move before Brexit, we could get a pre-settled status, and we're still here with a pre-settled status. And for us, the citizenship, or for me rather, the citizenship route is going to be that I need to be here for 5 consecutive years and then I can apply for a settled status, and I think I'll be getting an indefinite leave to remain, an ILR, and after a year after that I can apply for a British citizenship if I want to. So in total 6 years I can apply for a British citizenship. That is the case in the time of this recording, and obviously my own journey, because I moved here before Brexit, yours might be different. Please check the website go.uk and then you can get every single possible up-to-date information about the visas, how to move here, how to find a job visa if you're coming here to work, or a student visa. Now they have a points-based system that I don't know much about. Check the website. I actually opened the questions sticker on my Instagram story the other day, and one of the questions that I got, well, one of the most popular questions, and one of the things that I thought would be the most interesting, is to talk about the money first. Well, second. Is it expensive here? What are the costs of living? What are the general income levels? How about the housing market? So I'm going to try to explain these as much as possible, and I'm going to make comparisons to Switzerland. I could make comparisons to Turkey as well, I guess, but I think it's more relevant to make a little bit of comparison to Switzerland. And the biggest one is that the income is not as high on average compared to Switzerland. Swiss people who live and work in Switzerland, make quite a bit more money than working and earning money here. But cost of living is also a lot more cheaper here in the UK compared to Switzerland. Obviously, UK is still a more expensive country, let's say compared to Germany, for instance, which is where my husband is from, or well, Turkey nowadays, maybe not, but it is a little bit more expensive to live here. But in general, Switzerland was way more expensive to just buy groceries, meat, everything, except for one thing that is a little bit more expensive here in the UK, which we'll cover in a minute. The minimum wage as of, again, this recording in the UK is £8.91 if you're above 23 years old, and that will change in April 2022 to £9.50. And this is again a very transparent information that you can find online on go.uk. Feels like I'm being sponsored by the website. I'm absolutely not, obviously, but the thing is, this country is extremely transparent about what you're gonna make. If you're working with minimum wage or in any kind of job, you can easily find this. So this is the minimum wage. You multiply it by the hours that you work. You can also find the income tax brackets on the website. So the more money you make, the more income tax you pay, obviously. So yeah, this is the minimum wage. I don't know what the minimum wage in Switzerland is right now, but I can easily say for a similar job here in the UK, you would get much more money in Switzerland, but life would be more expensive in Switzerland as well, with one exception, like I said, and that is housing. Housing is really expensive here in the UK. That brings us to the third topic, which is the housing market in general, how to buy, how to rent, that kind of thing. If you haven't watched my previous video, we actually bought a house here in the UK, so I can compare buying and renting, again, here within the UK or to Switzerland. And I can say that buying a house or paying a mortgage per month is a lot cheaper than renting here in the UK, because this country is very popular and it's so fast. The market is moving so quickly. If you like something, you need to just apply and rent it as soon as possible. Otherwise, it's just going to be let and gone very quickly. And that's why the rental area is quite a bit expensive. So what I can say about the general pricing is the rent is maybe similar to Switzerland, or maybe slightly a little bit lower comparing to our little flat in Switzerland and our big house before this one here in the UK. We were paying just a little bit more, I think, but the house was much bigger. But the thing is, compared to the income, the average income level, housing is expensive. That's what I meant. Obviously, if you compare two similar houses, Switzerland can come on top, which I'm going to stop making that comparison for a second, because it's important to know what percentage of your income is going to go to your, housing, and it is quite a bit. And that's why many people in London City actually have roommates, flatmates. It's just a little bit more affordable and it makes sense, and sometimes really necessary to share the cost of living, share housing costs with somebody else. In London City, it can be really quite high. We used to live in the greater London area and we moved to another city actually. Right now we're in Northampton, which is a little bit north of London, and obviously prices are much lower here. And I'm not going to be able to tell you like this house is this much, this house is that much, because obviously depending on the age of the house, the exact location, I'm not talking about the zones in London. In any city, everything changes. But again, this country is extremely transparent. So if you want to know about what would be the average rent for a house in, I don't know, Northampton or Wembley or anywhere you want, you can go to an app called Rightmove and you can type in everything that you need and you will be able to see exactly how much you will be paying for rent. But again, two houses next to each other can be completely different because of how they're built naturally. So I'm not going to be able to tell you that, for about £2,000 you can, it's not smart to give you that number because it might change. What I can really say is where we used to live in the greater London area, a big house with a garden would probably be nothing lower than £1,200, more towards £1,500 to £1,800 if you want 4 or 5 rooms and a garden, which is what we wanted. That's why we didn't move in the city center. We moved a little bit of the outer skirts of London because we wanted the rooms. We work from home, me and my husband both, and we have a big dog, so we needed a garden, and that's why we moved a little bit further out. And we were still on the tube lines, the metro lines basically, and that house was above £2,000 per month for rent. So yeah, I think that would be the easiest way to tell you about the average costs for housing. Just to keep in mind, again, people live with flatmates, people rent out rooms all the time, so it could be, you could manage it. You don't have to rent a huge house yourself. It is high compared to the average income. That's all I can say. And I've been watching some US shows about real estate, and I feel like housing in the UK is much more expensive compared to, US, especially. I think I watched a show about LA real estate prices, and for, let's say, £1 million, what you can get over there in the US, even in LA, is going to be probably a little bit bigger, posher, nicer, more luxurious than what you can possibly get here in the UK for £1 million. So yeah, is more expensive, for sure. Buying wise, you can buy a property with a 5% deposit, as low as that during certain times if they have these available to you. There are certain campaigns and promotions that go on about buying houses and mortgages. So it is a little bit easier to buy with a very low deposit number. And again, the monthly payments for your mortgage will probably be significantly lower than rent. I don't want to ramble more about the housing. I just wanted to say one more thing that I think is important. That was another Instagram question. I'm not used to this. I wasn't used to this. In Turkey and in Switzerland, you could search for properties according to square footage, square meters, and it's not the case here in the UK. You search by room numbers. So a 3-bedroom house could be 100 square meters or 160 or 200, and you would have no idea. Sometimes it's not even listed in the details of the listing. Here, people generally look at houses in terms of how many rooms they have, and obviously rooms can be quite small as a single bed and a little wardrobe kind of small. So just bear in mind that it is very hard to know according to square footage how much you're going to pay for rent or to buy. The next topic is finding a job, or in general being employed here in the UK. I'm self-employed. I have been since I moved to the UK. I have my own company. I have my own business. I'm an entrepreneur. So I have never worked in a company here myself. But again, it is fairly transparent. It's very, very simple here. You just go on the websites. LinkedIn and jobs.uk work really, really well on this. And in every single job listing that I've seen, you can see your annual income. They just let you know how much money you're going to be making. This is not what I'm used to. Again, in Turkey, that is not transparent. You go, you apply, you do the interviews, and then they come up with an offer for you. But here, you would be able to even filter according to income, and you will be able to see the bands, the income tax bands as well, on the website that I just talked about like 10 times. So it is very transparent, and it is fairly competitive to find a job here, as far as I heard, I know. But obviously, there are many, many opportunities because it is just a massive, massive country, especially London is a massive city for financial positions, banking, for a lot of different positions, especially small companies and basically startups, because I feel like this country is the country for entrepreneurs. Maybe after certain stays in the US, London is really an entrepreneurial hub. And if you want to move here with a job, you probably need to have a work permit first. Check the website for how you can apply for one. I've never heard somebody being sponsored around my close circle, at least. So if you have any experience with that, please let us know in the comments. But generally speaking, if you want to find a job in Europe and Switzerland, in the UK, wherever you want to call it, generally you need to have a work permit first, unless they really, really, really want you. It was definitely the case in Switzerland. They told you straight up, if you don't have a work permit, even though we love you, we would like to work with you, we would like to hire you, we will prefer somebody who is already either a European Union citizen or somebody who already has a work permit. So just bear that in mind. I wish I could tell you about the school system. I wish I knew better about, college, moving here for studies, master's or PhD. I just don't have any experience in that. For Switzerland, I studied there. I had my master's there. I understood their system quite a bit, but here I really don't know. So I'm just not going to touch that topic. But there are so many good channels who talk about, A levels and all of these studies and exams here on YouTube. So if you want some recommendations, let me know in the comments and I'll give you some channel names that you can check and learn about the schooling system here in the UK. What I know is for the primary school for your kids, it is based on distance. So you can only apply for the schools around your house. And that's why people move house quite a bit here in the UK to take their children to a better school. They just move house and move closer to that good school and apply for that. That is something I know. Many, many times when we were looking to buy a house, it was like the previous owner wants to, sell because they just moved to this area because the schools are good there. So I know that you have to be, for the primary school at least, it is a region-based thing, it's a location-based thing, rather than you pick whatever school that you want to send your kids to. What I have quite a bit of experience is the healthcare system, the NHS, the National Healthcare system, I think. And there are so many news around there about it being horrible. People compare it to the US system. People say that, the waiting times are insanely long. And in my experience, NHS is a good system. In Switzerland, you had to have your own private health insurance, which was very expensive and it was still not fast. And here, the thing is, if it's an important and urgent matter, like a critical illness situation, NHS is very, very fast. When my dad had his heart attack, it was really, really quick. He was in the angioplasty the next day. He was hospitalized a day, and our experience in that was really quick. But obviously, if you're trying to see a doctor about something that is not as urgent, yeah, you can wait for a good 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 2 months. For my TMJ, for instance, I waited quite a bit, and that is only because they prioritize. That's it. Other than that, there are many things that are covered from NHS. You can get your prescriptions easily. I love the fact that your general practitioner, your GP, your main doctor can talk to the pharmacy. You can collect your, pills from the pharmacy. Like, the system in Turkey is completely different. You just take a prescription and you go to any pharmacy that you can find. Here is a little bit easier. Certain things obviously you don't pay for. So for me personally, I don't think that the NHS is a bad system. It's like overloaded or anything. My experience was quite good. Again, my expectations was not that I would get an appointment for something like a TMJ or, something that is not super urgent by next week. That wasn't my expectation. So I'm quite happy with that. I know that many people have bad experiences. I get that. I think it's also depending on the location that you are in, the density of the population there, the number of hospitals, the number of staff. So I get that. Personally, I think it's a good system. You have to have a private dentist, I think, or that's a different, it's not completely in the NHS, I think. I never had to go to the dentist here. And yeah, certain things are better if you do privately, like psychiatrists, for instance, are much better if you do it privately, but for urgent things, they're pretty good. And even dealing with COVID and stuff, they've been really good. I'm not saying it's the best, most effective healthcare system in the world or in Europe. It just works in my opinion. And the thing is, you don't pay for it at all. You don't pay for anything if you're in the NHS system. I think even if you're not, if you need, urgent care, I don't think you pay anything, which is quite impressive in my opinion. Let's talk about the weather a little bit, because when you say UK, many people are like, oh my god, it rains every day, and it's so dark and gloomy and all of that. And you know what? It is dark. It is dark and gloomy. I am Turkish. I am used to sunshine and good weather. But then obviously I lived in Switzerland for 2.5 years in between, and that was much colder. Definitely snows so much more. It doesn't snow here really, just snowed like once or twice since I've been here. It doesn't rain every day. It just doesn't. The thing is, it can rain at any given moment. The possibility is way higher compared to any other country. And sometimes when it rains, it rains like hours, days, a lot, but it doesn't feel like it's raining all day every day. It's not like that at all. And I saw on the social media, a friend of mine actually posted something about it, that actually Istanbul has more rain on average in a year compared to London, basically, just by the amount of water, I think. So yeah, it's not the shiniest, brightest, happiest weather, don't get me wrong, but it's not as bad as it rains every day kind of a situation. We get like 2 weeks of summer sometimes. It's definitely not enough sunshine for someone like me, but it is not horrible. Yeah, it's not as good as LA, I guess, or, Istanbul, but it's not horrible. If you personally struggle with, dark weather or not having sunshine, I think, and if you're thinking about moving here, I think you can start thinking about vitamin D supplements or, these daylight lamps and stuff like that, because it could be quite depressive. If you're not used to it in the beginning, you might just get really depressed because of the lack of sunshine. That's what happened to me in Switzerland. The next topic is people in general, and that's quite an important one for me because I am an extrovert and I love being around people. I love talking to people, and it's really important to me how it feels to live in a country. And obviously not being from here and having experiences in the past where I felt like I didn't belong, I just need to say that this is a very, very welcoming country in my opinion. I never once felt that I wasn't, home or I didn't belong. Nobody ever gave me the look of why did you come here? It's It's like, I know with Brexit it's a little bit confusing, but I personally never felt any hostility or any discrimination or any weirdness towards myself because I look different, because I'm not from here. Obviously, I don't have the accent. So it's not my experience at all. And I think every single person, British or not, have been incredibly welcoming and so respectful. This country, if I need to summarize with just one word, it will be respect. Like, everybody's so respectful, and I love that. You know, I absolutely love being here. I can easily say that, mostly because of the people. Everyone is so super nice. Again, my personal experience, of course, there are some weirdos here and there, which, you know, are everywhere. But my experience is that every interaction in a shop, in a doctor's office, pharmacy, out on the street has been very, very pleasant. When it comes to social life, obviously, for the last 2 years, due to COVID, I just don't have much material to talk about, but I can talk about one important thing. Back in Switzerland, and I don't know how many times I said Switzerland in this video, it should be more UK, but I think I said Switzerland more. The thing is, everything was closing around 8 p.m. everywhere, including Zurich, and on Sundays it was just completely closed, which I found incredibly weird. You know, coming from Istanbul, which is, how many million people are there right now? Like 18? I don't know. Everything is always on. 24/7 you can find something. And moving here, I got that vibe back. It is definitely, especially like here in Northampton in the city as well, but also in Greater London, London City. It's like life doesn't stop, and there's something to do. There are so many great events here. Like, there are so many unique things happening. Even like now, they have a lot of things going on. Even more than Istanbul. Like, there's something going on all the time. Social life is insane here. There's so many things that you can possibly do. Shopping is really good. There are retail parks everywhere. It's like, you know, it feels, even though Northampton is not obviously as big as London, it still feels like a big city with a nice, lively vibe. And on that note, restaurants are absolutely insane. There are so many good restaurants and cafes. They're all very special as well. It's always an experience. It's not just about the food. So in my opinion, this is probably the best country to just go and, you know, dine. I love going to different restaurants and cafes. Feels like they really do it well here. Like, the selection is very international. You probably can see every single nationality on the streets here in the UK, and that is something I really love. But also food-wise and, you know, just culture-wise, it offers you everything. It feels like this country really offers you everything, and I'm not just talking about London. That's important. I think you can find a lot of different things in any city in the UK. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. Something very small about sports. Switzerland is obviously the outdoor sports, the nature and hiking and stuff, and UK is all about golf. Everybody plays golf here. I didn't know about this at all before we moved, so I really feel like I should start learning how to play golf, but it is absolutely a big thing, especially when the weather is a little bit nicer. Everybody's playing golf. There's so many golf clubs around, so many, and they're beautiful places to hang out as well. So yeah, if you're interested, and if you're maybe already here, look into golfing for sure. And the last thing on my list is a little bit about entrepreneurship, being an entrepreneur here. And I briefly mentioned that there are so many small businesses, so many startups and entrepreneurs here in this country. And I love that. It's really the country to be an entrepreneur in. People are very helpful. There are so many small business owners that are looking to bond, looking to network, looking to meet and help each other. People are really helpful. And you will see people working on laptops everywhere. So I think being an entrepreneur and being here is a perfect match. I think for my personality in general, like being an extrovert, being an entrepreneur, being non-European, I think all in all, this is the perfect fit for me, and it really feels home right now. If you're thinking about starting a business, I think from the support that you might get here, but also obviously the target market, this could be the perfect choice in my opinion. I think those were all my notes. I hoped that this video wouldn't be as long, but of course I talked a lot again because I wanted to tell you as many things as possible. If it's gonna help you with any decision at all, or maybe just again curious, I want to tell you everything, but maybe I forgot something, so let me know in the comments if I did, and I will try to answer as many comments as possible. And thank you so much for watching. I don't know if I should continue talking about life in the UK, my life here. Let me know what you think in the comments as well, and I will see you hopefully, if you subscribe, in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye.